The timing of the selection of the candidates, the nominees of the party, was unusual in this election cycle. And the Democratic race, it was contended very strongly between Hillary Clinton and Obama. So in the early months, the timing when the endorsement would have normally been made, it was just too close to call. So the American Postal Workers Union National Executive Board did make an endorsement because we thought that we should express our preferences in the process when it would be meaningful. Afterwards, then the choices are much more stark, and you don't have, if the choice is merely Obama or McCain, the differences there are so stark that it's almost a no-brainer. So we weighed it in several months ago, and the Executive Board made an endorsement for Obama, for president, not just for the primaries, and our call was right. He did succeed. Hopefully we played a part in his success, but he did succeed. We will take the issue, the Executive Board's recommendation, to our delegates at this convention and ask that they confirm that selection. And I'm confident that the members of the American Postal Workers Union in convention, in their workplaces across the country, or the National Executive Board will side with the candidate that promises tomorrow instead of yesterday. And we'll ask them to support our candidate, Barack Obama, and are confident that they will agree.
Many APWU members have already begun to mobilize their family members and co-workers for the November elections and to raise money for COPA, the union's political action fund. Volunteers are staffing a special COPA table at the National Convention, and delegates like Delaney McElrath, president of the local in Greensboro, North Carolina, are doing their part.
Our local has been very active trying to raise money for our COPA, and this year we decided to sell shirts that tell a little history about Greensboro, North Carolina. And by being a North Carolina A&T graduate also, we have a shirt for COPA that represents the sit-in movement back in 1960, which started in Greensboro with 4 freshmen from North Carolina A&T State University on February 1st, 1960. And we're selling our shirts for $20, and out of 635 members of APW 711, we have 109 that have actually participated and bought shirts, and we also have sold them to our state to help raise money, because this election that's coming up this year is a very important one, standing for justice.
Greg Bell, the APWU's National Director of Industrial Relations, says what happens at the polls in November will have a big impact on the union's future at the bargaining table.
We, as a union, were successful in contract negotiations last year. I think we made tremendous achievements in contract negotiations. Frankly, I think we always do well in contract negotiations. But there's certain things that that are not on the table this year in terms of collective bargaining, but our struggle lies within the political arena. The other day I was asked by one of the members, what is the connection between contract negotiation and the upcoming election? One example would be subcontracting. Even though we try each and every contract negotiation to improve Article 32, which is our subcontracting provision, it's still a difficult task because there's no obligation for the employer to negotiate with the unions. And if you look at the Postal Service, and for those of the members who have been in the service for a long time, each year they subcontract out more. They achieve subcontracting piece by piece or job by job. The workforce we had years ago, we no longer have the same workforce. It's being reduced each and every year. How does that affect us? How does this upcoming election affect us? We have a bill currently in Congress that will require the Postal Service to negotiate with APWU. We are looking out for the interests of the American people, postal workers. We want to support and make sure that universal service is here not only now, but for the future.
Bell says employers are organizing for the election and union members should as well.
You know, just over there I heard on the news that Walmart, which is one of the most anti-labor employers in the nation, is actually telling its employees to vote Republican, vote for McCain. And you have to ask yourself, what do they know that we don't know? Well, they know that this election represents change. And it's a matter of which direction you're leaning towards. What side are you on? For me, there's only one side, and that's the union side. The side of labor, working America. And if Walmart is that concerned, then that means we have a chance to make it this time. We have a chance to make a difference. And to borrow a phrase that's out there, yes, we can. And that's important that we do.
Before the APWU convention began, many delegates attended craft conferences where they discussed issues specific to their area of work. At the clerk conference, members heard reports about the loss of jobs in the clerk craft and the effect on service to postal customers.
What's happening to us is what happened to the larger locals a few years back, and so when we listen to their problems now, we know we're going to have them in the future. The downsizing and the cutback in the tours. So it's just, they're not doing attrition, they're reverting too many jobs. They don't care if the mail's delivered or not. We're there to deliver the mail, and they aren't allowing us to do it. So.
In my local, we're having a lot of problems with supervisors doing bar unit work and crossing craft issues where you have city carriers and rural carriers that are doing clerk duties, mail processing duties, and you know, that's a big issue on the workroom floor. And of course, we are filing the grievances. We are getting our members compensated for those violations. However, now you see them occur more and more frequently, more like on a daily basis, where they're trying to avoid the payment of the SDO overtime, penalty pay, even the 2 hours of regular overtime pay. And to avoid all that, they rather violate the contract than to pay the overtime, follow the contract. They rather violate it, and that, of course, we're going to get our members paid for not actually doing the work. So that's really a big problem in our area.
Well, our clerks are concerned on the pressure on the downsizing in our stations and the lines that it causes for people to wait at the post office. And how are they able to give good customer service when there's lines going out the door?
The motor vehicle craft is witnessing many jobs being lost due to recent decisions by the Postal Service.
One of the main issues is subcontracting, and a lot of the directors are very worried that the Postal Service is actively trying to replace us completely with highway contractors. And it seems like a lot of times they preach about cost savings, and they don't really seem to back it up with, you know, they won't give us the work that we desperately need in our craft to fulfill, you know, so the number of positions that we have, and they try to use the contractors, and I don't believe that they are getting a positive cost saving by using the contractors. It doesn't seem to make sense the way we look at it.
The current administration, they're into outsourcing, contracting out as much as they can to line the pockets of the contractors who are doing substandard work at ridiculous prices, to where we could hire and also employ more employees with the post office and have them utilize the system and also the equipment that we have to be repaired by them. They are paying an exuberant amount of money to outside sources to get the same thing done that we get done at half the cost. So as far as the drivers are concerned, we move more mail than the contractors. They have a lot of repetitive runs as a highway contractor. They're utilizing them as more and as much as they're utilizing us, but when they fail, we have to pick up the slack.
Meanwhile, the maintenance craft is seeing a growth in jobs, but also an insufficient number